First up, I'd like to introduce Mr. Egil Otter, who's Manager for International Relations and Policy Director at the Norwegian Automobile Federation. He's an engineer by training, but has had experience working for a motor manufacturer, Volvo, and has also worked for the Ministry of Transport in Norway as well. And his topic this morning, I think, is one which has enormous relevance for every country that is introducing electric vehicles, and that is around how governments can incentivize their introduction and uptake. So, Mr. Otter.
Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to share the experiences from Norway. In fact, we have more electric vehicles in Norway than all the EU countries together, so I think we have some experience. Not all of them are too good. Why does an automobile club care about electric cars? Of course, we would like a safe and environmental friendly car population, and it's important to us that the tax system for cars will tax the actual emissions from the cars and not the technology used. We believe that it will be appropriate to make exemptions when wanting to help new technology to enter the market. In general, the incentives should be the same for cars with the same type of emissions, regardless of technology. Electric car incentives are important to allow our members to choose more environmentally friendly cars. And since NAF is a membership organization for all car owners with more than 500,000 members, we work to maintain the lowest possible cost for all our members. So the current electric car policy is a part of the long-term solution. As you see here, an electric car is absolutely nothing new. It's more than 120 years. And this little cute thing down here, it's working pretty well. We have fun with it quite often. The stupid little thing in the middle, it's produced in downtown in Oslo, and it's really, really a city car, which attract urban young people using this. And it takes only 1/3 of the parking space of a Tesla. And of course, the Tesla up there, it's very, very popular in Norway, and now the 4x4 version is introduced. Just now is pretty exactly 70,000 electric vehicles rolling around in Norway. In addition, about 8,000 plug-in hybrids. It's incredible, and it's a big surprise to most of us. Have in mind that Norway is a very small country. There are 5 million inhabitants and 2.5 million passenger cars. These figures are remarkable, and media from all over the world looks to little Norway and wonder how come. There are many and different reasons why. If they are more or less convertible or comparable to the city of Dubai and all the cities within the Emirates or outside as well, it's up to you as experts to consider and possibly implement. A great majority of the thousands of electric vehicles are found in the capital, Oslo, a fast-growing city of 700,000 inhabitants, when including the vicinity. And there are in the surrounding area of the city the uses of electric vehicles lives. Not many years ago, an electric car was an ugly plastic box on 4 wheels. Today we have Tesla, as elegant as a Jaguar, and faster acceleration than a Ferrari. And now sold in the number of approximately 10,000 examples in Norway. The latest 4x4 version is status car number 1, no doubt about that. Much more moderate are the Volkswagen Golf, and last month was 4 out of 10 new Volkswagen Golf sold in Norway, the electric version, as well as Renault sold. As a consumer organization, of course, we test all the electric vehicles. We have a long cold winter, and driving range is absolutely the #1 interesting from consumers. And we, of course, we publish the results. What are the success factors, the driving forces behind the overwhelming success and the number of in only a few years? Let us not forget that there are some trouble factors as well. I will come back on that. Very briefly, the background. The tax level on a car in Norway is sky high, the second highest in Europe. Only Denmark can beat us. The governmental creativeness in this field is extreme. Nevertheless, this fact gives possibility to stimulate non-emission vehicles, but not just only lowering the taxes, but really abolish them completely. And so we're done in the belief that electric vehicles never was going to be a popular car in a larger scale, or nothing much advanced regarding operative driving range and the little cute one in the middle. All the political parties competed in being environmentally friendly and supportive to tax exemption. The results was a generous list of privileges. As I said, we have a sky-high import tax. It was abolished, absolutely no nothing. We have a VAT of 25%, which is very unfamiliar to many of you, I believe. There is no annual tax, which we pay by year. The tax is about $400 a year, whatever kind of car, age, petrol, diesel, or condition, whatever. And the tax system easily double, up to triple the price of the net car. One example, I just mentioned the Volkswagen Golf. The difference between a diesel 2.0 TDI and the electric version is approximately $10,000. The Mercedes B-Class, $13,000 in difference. And not to speak about the Tesla, if we figure out what the ordinary tax should have been if that was for a conventional car, then it up to $100,000 in difference. This is the latest model, SP85D, to be very concrete. Further, if you select electric vehicle as a company car, in most European countries you have to pay tax on this as an advantage. But they charge you only 50% of the total sum. And most, and very popular, no toll at public ferries, public toll roads, bridges and tunnels. You see, we have thousands of tunnels and bridges in Norway which are tolled. I will come back to that. And then, let's say the real cream attractive component there, access to use the bus lanes. I will come back on that completely. The government, they of course support financially the municipalities which establish charge points. The municipality incentives are also pretty generous. Free parking at municipal parking lots, exclusive access to parking area. Downtown in Oslo, it's a large, one of the largest parking places. It's exclusively for electric car. And it will soon, this winter, it will open up an exclusively indoor facility as well. And of course the municipalities, they add up financial support to build more on-street charging points. We now have about 7,500 charging points around in Norway, and that's too little. So it's complaints about the number is so low. So this will increase very rapidly. On-street charging points for free, very popular. This picture is very, very typical about dedicated parking lots. Private incentives. Shopping malls, they attract people to use this as well. The quick charge by paying per minute is also very popular. It's access by application, of course. And there is a small difference between the Tesla. If you buy the cheapest version of the Tesla, you have to pay a little bit, and if you have the most expensive one, you have now. So it's a package around this thing. But Tesla provide exclusive quick charge points at typical holiday resorts, cafes along highways, and so on. Car sharing, it's also coming up. Car sharing clubs. Some of them are organized by herds or very local initiatives. And a few railway stations, the main railway station in Oslo, they also provide hourly rental for city driving for a very, very reasonable price. Who are the buyers and why? We know quite a lot of these buyers and what are the motives around this. And the important key findings from a survey we recently did and the respondents was not only a few, it was 50,000 of the respondents. And of course they want to take advantage of the attractive privileges. So 74% of the respondents they want electric cars incentive to be kept in the future, of course. And although the number of electric cars has increased and many people want to buy electric cars, uncertainties concerning the technological developments, used car price, maintenance cost, range and political incentives prevent people from buying electric cars. Those who buy, they have an income above average, we know that. We also know that it's quite often it's a second or a third car which is bought purely to get fast to work in the morning peak hour, the rush hour. Companies, they also in the beginning, let's say, wish to flash a green profile, and that's not any longer, that's history, but the little yellow one is one of the first electric car my club had for some years ago. Now we have Teslas and Nissan Leafs, which is available for all the employees during work hours. Governmental bodies, they have shown up to be really a large buyer of this. The Post company in Oslo just bought 400 Renaults in this, and this is really increasing. And then you can speak about environmental interest in cities. As you understand, this is overwhelming successful, but driving in the bus lane, I promised you to come back on this. And The enormous popular privilege came recently partly to an end. It was too good. The bus drivers became more and more dissatisfied by being delayed by the electric vehicle and addressed the Minister of Transport. He was of course in squeeze because it was promised back in 2010 not to take any limiting measures before 2017. The compromise was that using the bus lane during rush hour, morning and evening, now required a minimum of 2 people in the car.
As you see this on the left side, you have electric cars, and then the bus is queuing up behind.
This has become a really debate. It has been on front page, direct TV, early morning showing and everything. And those who are sitting on the right side here, they have been, of course, grumpy about the electric cars driving 3 times faster. So it has become a political thing, not only technical. One other thing is to consider, to tell that Norway has an enormous long coastline with fjords and islands. Bridges and tunnels connect, and I'm quite often told, it is regular in Norway, that you pay until the road project is down paid, and then it stops, usually after 5 to 10 years. People are happy about that. There's a long tradition. But when half the population on an island, or those living across the fjords, has bought an electric vehicle and drive for free, does the tolling prolong for years, or in the worst case, collapsing in financing? It has been built thousands of on-street charging points, which means less parking available for ordinary cars. People complain when losing their regular space. Several people loudly question the unfairness of directly subsidizing the buyers and users of electric vehicles. It has already been mentioned that buyers of electric vehicles, in particular Tesla, belongs to the high-income groups. The sales explosion of electric vehicles does of course affect the state income, the proceeds. The decline of state income cannot be placed on those who prefer a conventional car. The Minister of Finance has now clearly indicated that some taxation will be implemented sooner or later, but most likely in 2017. That's not far away. We are also to question, does electric vehicles contribute to less traffic? Not at all. It contributes, of course, to less local pollution, but we know that electric vehicle owners use it more frequent, and in particular for short distances. And the size of an electric vehicle is just as big as any other car. We know that by this survey, and people use the electricity, let's put it that way, as an excuse to drive their children to school, or just 1 kilometer down to the local shop. So this is the other side of the coin, which could be wise to have in mind. This is a green card. It's a basic reminder to all of us where does the electricity comes from. In my country, nearly 100% comes from hydro power. We are extremely privileged in such matter, but the price of energy, kilowatt, are unpredictable and gives large seasonal fluctuations. Energy is an open international market, at least in Europe. Today, very, very cheap. In 2-3 years, it might be tripled. And that will, of course, affect people's considerations about buying an electric vehicle. Who knows, if not regulated by the government. Norway has waterfalls, the Emirates has the sun, and the keywords in this matter will, of course, be the solar power, which has a great, great future. We even use it in whole Norway as well. Electric vehicles are a success. I'm sorry to say it, but not mainly driven by environmental concerns among the buyers, but irresistible incentives. We know this by this already mentioned twice, a recent large survey. It's obvious to everyone in Norway that the sales of an electric vehicle will hit them almost instantly if the incentives and privileges terminate. A demonstration of such action was last year seen when the bus drivers' unions addressed the Minister of Transport to stop the access to bus lane. The Social Democratic Minister gave a vague answer. The media read that as a positive response to the bus drivers. The reaction did not wait. The sales of electric vehicles took an immediate standstill until the minister 3 weeks later gave a clear statement not to stop the permit. So, I repeat, no under the condition of being minimum 2 persons in the car during rush hours. It's going on rumors that someone has bought, these window exhibition dolls that we can put on the side in the passages. Well, I haven't seen it so far. Car manufacturers continuously deliver new and improved emission-free cars that can meet the needs of Norwegian drivers in everyday life. Politicians have incentives that work if wanting to make changes to the car population. The response from consumers has been great, and developments have moved more quickly than anyone dared to hope. The same effect has not been observed in countries where special incentives have not been introduced to zero emission cars. It has been a lot of frustration in our neighboring country, Denmark, because they temporarily gave a tax reduction, but now it's quite clear that from 1st of January 2016, it's a cutback. So the price of a Tesla in Denmark will triple. So you can imagine that it's no big future for this. The Norwegian new car population must not emit more than 85 grams of CO2 per kilometer in 2020. To reach this goal, do we need electric cars and plug-in hybrids to continue rolling out on Norwegian roads? If we pull the plug too early, we could also risk losing what has been gained so far. And Norwegian Automobile Federation wants the electric car incentives to continue until we have secured a lasting electric car market. This is also in line with the wishes of the Norwegian people, according to this large Well, let me conclude my presentation by telling that the sales of electric vehicles are anyway on high level. Each 5th passenger car or light van is electric. Still we observe a stagnation in favor of plug-in hybrids, which from 1st of January next year will have less taxation if the Parliament approve next year's state's version. And we will know that very, very soon, maybe already next week. But it's for 90% sure that will be the decision. I'm not the right one to read in the crystal ball and tell you the future, but reversing present incentives into a certain extent is expected in 2017, in 2 years, less than 2 years. The most optimistic green politicians predict 200,000 electric vehicles rolling around in Norway in 2020. That remains to be seen. Until further, we can call the electric cars in Norway a success fueled by incentives. Thank you.
My name is Adham Bandur. I'm from Green Parking. We are the supplier of EV chargers in Dubai. My question is regarding the incentives that you have spoke about during your presentation. Now, the majority of incentives are basically commercial, financial ones that encourage the people, the consumer, to go towards the electric cars. But this obviously has an impact commercially and financially on the authorities. So perhaps you can explain to us how does the authorities benefit, or what is the direct benefit or the indirect benefits that the authorities will get through promoting the electric cars and through giving those incentives to those people?
That is more or less purely the interest in a good environment. Less local pollution, and we have of course the UN regulations, so, which Norway has contracted. And so I have a goal to reach, and that will be very difficult. That's why also it's giving very nice privileges to the parking area, exclusive parking, so the on-street parking lots and charging as well. But it is the environmental idea and obligations which has to be fulfilled. And Norway, the state finance in Norway are in quite nice condition, and they can afford to do such actions without big consequences. But as I said, it was given a little bit too good in a way. That's a paradox. We can laugh about it, but no one, 5 years, 6, 7 years ago, no one was dreaming about this number of 70,000 electric vehicles. And as I said, the sales of plug-in hybrids is going like that. And next year, I believe it's not only that, but that. Thank you.
Any other questions at all? Well, just to continue that, I think, is it just a question of economies of scale that make it currently inefficient to promote electric vehicles without a subsidy? Or will there become a tipping point, you think, when electric vehicles will stand on their own 2 feet without the incentive?
It's a kind of strange noise over here.
Sorry, I'll repeat the question. I said, is it a question of economies of scale that mean that electric vehicles are currently not economic to run without incentives? And do you think there will become a tipping point where just the sheer volume of electric vehicles in the market will mean that prices come down and incentives will not be necessary as they are today?
Well, as I said, it's not easily to predict, especially the future. But depends a little bit on what kind of government regime we have in this matter. But this, let's say, the opposite side of the coins I have mentioned here, it's very strongly related to Oslo, the capital, the biggest city, and a few other small cities, Stavanger and Bergen, which is not that big. But we see a very nice increase of